One thing, that's 3 holding penalties on one football team in a quarter and a half. That ain't funny.
Hi, this is Justin Waller of the Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for sports talk here on the First Coast.
New Year's resolutions. We've all made them. Mine is the same every year. Eat healthier. The eat part usually works out fine. It's the healthier part I forget about. But not anymore, now that I've found the oh-so-chocolatey Built Bar. Built Bars are low-cal, low-sugar, high-protein, high-fiber. Great for keto. Lose or maintain weight while indulging in a yummy treat. At 130 calories, you'll feel like making a resolution every day. Try all 18 amazing flavors. Get yours at BuiltBar.com.
Make contact. A collective psychosis is sweeping the nation. We're in the thick of the haze craze, and Elysian is introducing an altered state of IPA. Contact Haze is a tangled chemistry of mild haze, low bitterness, and an explosion of hop aroma. This hazy IPA bursts with notes of bright raspberry, currant, citrus, guava, and passion fruit. Available in 6-pack cans in stores and in all Seattle Elysian locations. Make contact.
CBS Sports Radio, your home for all things sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, coast to coast. Great sports talk expected here. CBS Sports Radio.
Dread running to the post office? Stamps.com brings post office and UPS services right to your computer. Send letters, ship packages, and get up to 40% off USPS and up to 62% off UPS rates. Nearly 1 million small businesses use Stamps.com to save time and money. It's a no-brainer. So skip the post office and visit Stamps.com. Use promo code LISTEN for a 4-week trial plus free postage and a digital scale. That's Stamps.com, promo code LISTEN.
Oh, wow, I'm pretty sure that's going to be a... Yep, there it is. Another flag on the play.
Multiple flags on the play. Holding. Offense number 97. That penalty was declined. Touchdown. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Offense number 22. Penalty will be applied to the kickoff.
This is going to be one of the strangest calls.
That son of a... You playing against Dick this week? Yeah. Could be worse, man. When I played against him, he ejected all my players.
What? Armchair.
Take the scenic route in the new Hyundai Santa Fe, the family SUV with available H-Track all-wheel drive to help you travel way off the beaten path. Find new adventures together in Hyundai Santa Fe.
Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me 1 second. Hello?
Hi. Would you be interested in switching over to TMI long-distance service?
Oh, gee, I can't talk right now. Why don't you give me your home number and I'll call you later?
Well, I'm sorry. We're not allowed to do that.
Oh, I guess you don't want people calling you at home.
No.
Well, now you know how I feel.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, and flat out deceived.
There's something kind of about a kid that's never played baseball.
Make sure to listen to the Armchair Quarterbacks. Good enough for us down here in the bayou. Go Tigers and the Armchair Quarterbacks.
It's morning.
Yes, and what a lovely morning. Good
Good morning.
Good morning. We've talked the whole night through.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
To be vaccinated no later than May 1.
Who put May 1 on the teleprompter? Who did it? You know he reads it word for word. You have to put first. He's like Ron Burgundy.
Armchair.
CBS Sports Radio.
You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on CBS Sports Radio, #1 sports station.
Good morning, and this is your Armchair Quarterbacks Sports Flash. Chicago White Sox left fielder Eloy Jimenez will have surgery for a ruptured pectoral tendon and will miss 5 to 6 months, General Rick Hahn said on Thursday. The 24-year-old slugger had a .296 batting average with 14 home runs, 41 RBI during the 60-game shortened season last year. The NBA trading deadline was yesterday at 3 p.m. and there were a slew of moves. Here we go. Warriors trade Wanamaker to the Hornets. The Houston Rockets trading Oladipo to the Miami Heat. Raptors trade guard Davis to the Kings. Rajon Rondo is heading back to LA, but it's the Clippers this time as he's traded away from Atlanta. George Hill is on his way to the 76ers. The Raptors trade Powell out to Portland. The Bulls acquire Vucevic from the Orlando Magic, and the Celtics add Fournier as well from Orlando. While some believe the big deal was Aaron Gordon going to the Denver Nuggets from the Magic. There's still a slew of things to get sorted out over the next few days as the buyout clause will take place. And the Sweet 16 resumes on Saturday, 2:40 p.m. on CBS. It's Oregon State versus Loyola of Chicago. Villanova and Baylor then take the court at 5:15, also on CBS. And at 7:25 over on TBS, you get Oral Roberts versus Arkansas, followed up by Syracuse versus Houston with an estimated tip-off of about 9:55 p.m. On Sunday, 2:10 p.m. tip-off, it's Creighton versus #1 Gonzaga and the overall favorite to win it all. 5 p.m., you get the Michigan Wolverines taking on the Florida State Seminoles. Both those games can be seen on CBS. At 7 o'clock, UCLA, the #11 seed, will do battle with the #2 seed Alabama Crimson Tide. And that will be followed up at 9:45 p.m. with #7 Oregon versus the 6th-seeded Southern Cal Trojans. And that's your Armchair Quarterback Sports Flash. Stay tuned for more of the Armchair Quarterbacks radio show and YouTube Live. Please like, subscribe, and share our show today. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for sports talk live from the First Coast. Good morning. It's time to wake up, y'all. You're listening to the Armchair Quarterback Show. We're here weekdays, 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 Central, the Armchair Quarterback Show. Your first choice for Southern sports talk. Good morning. I'm Mac McGee, and I don't know much, but I know one thing. Until further notice, the Orlando Magic are going to suck, and Tony Agolini's going to have issues with his camera. You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks.
I don't want cantaloupe.
No, you never had cantaloupe like this before.
I only eat cantaloupe at certain
This
times.
is great cantaloupe.
All right.
Huh?
It's
Good.
very good.
Good, huh?
Good.
I got it at Joe's. 49 cents a pound. That's practically half than what you're paying at the supermarket. I don't know why you don't go to Joe's.
It's too far.
It's 3 blocks further. You can use my shopping cart.
I'm not pulling a shopping cart. What am I supposed to wear a kerchief, put stockings on, and roll them down below my knee?
See, the other thing is, if you don't like anything, takes it right back.
I don't return fruit. Fruit's a gamble. I know that going in.
Armchair.
Community Access Channel.
He's the armchair quarterback. He's full of beer and he's full of snacks. The all-American man.
Hey, howdy, hi. Top of the morning to you. Welcome to the Armchair Quarterback Radio Show. I'm Mac McGee sitting alongside Tony Agolini. Justin Waller's on vacation, but we've got Tony and we've got Matt Carr on the way. Tony, how the hell are you this morning, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm getting ready for the Sweet 16. Cannot wait. They would do that. They would play that damn game right in the middle of my fantasy baseball drafts going on Sunday. So that part I'm a little pissed about, but I kind of maneuvered the time so it's a little more manageable, so I can watch the majority of the game without being logged down into the thick of the drafts. Before we dive into the basketball, I wanted to do a little college baseball. We really haven't done it in quite a while, and this is a good time as any because Florida State's red hot. So I figured why not talk about it now before it gets, absolutely terrible down the road. Florida State won the Florida game. We kind of glossed over that last week, and then they swept Miami, who was ranked number 6 in the country at the time. I haven't seen the newest ratings. I do know Florida State went up to 15 in one poll and 17 in another after being unranked. And then they had an incredible walk-off on Wednesday against Central Florida. What have the Gators been up to?
Gators had a nice sweep of Texas A&M last weekend. There was no midweek game this week. I think O'Sullivan was trying to find an opponent on short notice for Tuesday just to get some pictures, some work that didn't get work over the weekend and wasn't able to. So they go to South Carolina this week. South Carolina's somewhat good again. They'd had some down years and basically figured, I guess they'd grab a bunch of kids from Florida and put a team together up there that's better. So all 3 of their starters this weekend have some kind of Florida connection. And the coach was at USF years ago. But yeah, Florida's did well last weekend. That's A&M wasn't ranked, but they still have a good pitching staff. They're not great at the plate, but it was good to get a home sweep there. And then this will be the first weekend road series of the season for Florida. So I think they'll be okay up there. At least get 2 out of 3 and hopefully get a sweep.
The one thing I do want to mention before we go any further, evidently there's some terrible tornadoes that hit in the middle Tennessee and northern Alabama area. In fact, a good friend of mine, he and his wife, I guess, were caught in one as they were visiting their family down in Alabama, and it tore their house apart. I was reading this freaking thing on social media this morning, and we wish well to all of them. The people in question, they are okay. They said that everyone's okay, but evidently one of their cars were ripped in half. And so, wow. There's some bad stuff going on out there. But back to the actual sporting world, try to keep our minds off of that. With college baseball heating up, is Florida as good as you thought they were going to be when they were ranked number 1, number 2? Or do you think that this team was a little bit overrated, or is it too early to tell and we'll just see how it goes?
I think early there's been some flaws. Defensively, we've made a bunch of errors in the first few weekends, especially untimely errors, because those are the ones that stand out. If there's nobody on base and your shortstop whiffs on one, then you usually don't notice it. But when there's a couple guys on and runs scored because of it, Riviere's kind of had a tough start at shortstop at the plate, and I think that translated to the field. So defensively, I think that's kind of been a letdown a little bit, but they've gotten better. Again, they played almost perfect baseball last weekend. I think the bullpen, I mean, the starters have been fine. About a week before the season started, we got the news we were going to miss Pogue for the season. And then there's another midweek starter guy that we're missing as well. So those two kind of would help solidify the bullpen on weekends and then start the Tuesday, Wednesday games. So I think Sully's had trouble trying to fill that gap. Aliman's a reliever that was the one who blew that Saturday Miami game. He walked like 4 guys and Sully left him in, I think, just to see if he could find his find his groove. Well, like 3-4 weeks later, he is finally finding that groove. So hopefully that problem will get solved. But yeah, to answer your question, I mean, yeah, starting out preseason number one and watching us and watching Vanderbilt and watching some of these other programs, Florida should have been like top 5, and maybe number 1 was a stretch. But I think the thought from the national guys was that, all 3 weekend guys were going to be back. This team can really hit. That hasn't been a disappointment at all, other than the game against FSU a few weeks ago, last week. But yeah, I think top 5 would have been fine. Number 1's probably a little tough, but I mean, every team that's been number 1 lately, especially like Arkansas, spent a week or two there, and they probably lost 2 or 3 games to teams outside of the SEC. So as long as you're in that like top 15 and you're going to host a regional and then host a super and then use all that to get to Omaha, that's the biggest thing. Just get to the regional, host it, get to the super, host it, and then find your way to Omaha and see what happens.
What do you think led to the beating that they took from Miami? Was it just early in the season, or do you think that the bullpen's an issue, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, the Miami series, one Friday night, Saturday, I think we're up, 8-3 or so, I think in the 7th or 8th, and they climbed all the way back, took it to extra innings, and they won in extra innings. And that was, so he just left Alaman in too long. And he said after the game, he's trying not to destroy the kid on his first ever, big game collegiate appearance, which I understand. If we're sacrificing game 2 of that Miami series for him to do well later in the year, I'm okay with that. But yeah, we blew that Saturday game, and then that carried over into Sunday where they really beat the crap out of us. So, it stinks because it's funny. We won like say 23 out of the last 26 or something like that against Miami. And that was their first, I think that was their first series win against us since like 2013 or so. So it had been a while. But yeah, I think they've kind of recovered from that. And like I said, sacrificing that one game, if it all works out in the end, that's okay.
Well, I hope you're right. I hope they are good, because if they're good, Florida State's going to win the national championship, because they kicked the crap out of Florida. They kicked the crap out of Miami. The Central Florida game. Did you catch the tail end of that? That was wild.
I didn't, but I saw your tweet about it. I knew it had to be good.
It was. I tried to explain it the best I could yesterday. The short of it was the infield fly rule came into effect. The bases were loaded, nobody out. State was down 1, bottom of the 10th. Ball was popped up between first and second, and the first baseman and second baseman did the old, you got it play, and the ball fell in between them, right? Oof. So all these runners are standing there at their base because they're assuming the ball's going to get caught. So now we have an infield fly rule. If all the base runners stay where they're at, that's it. It doesn't matter the batter's out. But these young kids, they didn't know what to do. In fact, you even saw the guy on first kind of go back and forth while the play's going on. After the ball drop, he didn't know which way to go. And so the guy from third tries to score from home. And when he goes to score from home, the ball's thrown to the plate. Catcher's foot is on the plate, automatic out. He thinks he throws to first, trying to throw out the guy who's running down the first base line. He's safe. And what actually happens, because in an infield fly rule, you have to tag the guy.
Right, there's no force out.
Right, there's no force out, and they just forgot. And in the heat of the moment, I understood that. So Florida State actually tied the game on that, and then 2 batters later, they walked in the winning run. But you should have seen the broadcasters on ESPN basically arguing and saying, they blew the call. And I guess somebody in their truck about 5 minutes later said, "Nah, man, actually, they didn't blow the call. You guys are idiots."
Yeah. So, I didn't take infield fly rule at UCF, but I took it at Normandy, and so we're well versed on the infield fly rule.
Well,
especially after that Braves game years ago.
Exactly as Justin said yesterday, he said, I think all of us Braves fans are very well aware of the infield fly rule. But I think the hardest thing is for everyone to realize that if you just stay put, there's going to be no double play.
Right, exactly.
But the instinct is the ball dropped, I got to run,
Yeah.
So, unless you've got,
once that ball hits the ground, anything goes.
Yeah. Unless you have a coach standing out there who's actually ready for this. He's almost like Vince Lombardi, and he's out there smacking his freaking going, stay. Trust me. There's going to be chaos when, whenever that goes down. Switching gears over to the, Sweet 16 kicks off this weekend. As we hit the first quarter of the Armchair Quarterback Sweet 16, all begins tomorrow. I think the first tip is 2:40 Eastern. Oregon State, Loyola, and then it's going to go all the way through the weekend. The last game on Sunday night, Oregon versus Southern Cal, which might be the most exciting game of the week, and I'm a little disappointed that that's the game that they put as the final game. I would have rather put the Zags and Creighton as the final game on Sunday night and give us some. If I were doing this, I would have put Michigan, Florida State at the early tip at 2:00 since they're the only two East Coast teams. I would have put the Zags at the late tip at 9:45, and I would have had Oregon, USC at that 5 p.m. prime time slot. I guess they're trying to get the East Coast fans, but I believe Florida State, Michigan fans would have came to the TV at 2:00 regardless, and you would have got them to keep. Because I bet you a lot of people are going to say, Creighton Zags, I'm going to get some crap done today, and then I'll be home in time to watch that one in the UCLA Bama game should be great. But Saturday's games.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's funny. All week I was thinking there was games today. All week I was thinking there were games today. Follow the script from last week, but yeah, they're going Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. It's funny. It really doesn't matter because it's not like the players are going anywhere. They're all in the bubble, and there's so few fans allowed to these games that it's not like a bunch of people have to make travel plans. So,
I absolutely hate the new system or this year's system that they're doing because it felt so weird not having a game on Thursday night. So we had to sit through the NIT. I tried to watch some of it. Carr and I did a goofy NIT bracket. I still have a fighting chance in the things, strangely enough, because I had some really bad losses in the first round. But it's weird. Like the NIT should be sitting out, playing on Wednesday night, and it should have all started last night. And there's no reason why you couldn't have, because like you said, they're all sitting in the bubble. At least start the damn thing by Friday. Because at least you would have a wraparound. You're not going to make me believe that you're going to get better ratings on Monday and Tuesday than you would have on a Thursday and Friday. So that's going to be super weird. They are going to do the Final Four on the normal Saturday afternoon or Saturday evening. Years ago, it used to be like a 2:30 and 5 o'clock tip off. Now it's more like 6 and 9 o'clock. But tomorrow's game, which one has your eye the most between Oregon State, Loyola, Nova, Baylor, or Roberts, Arkansas, and Syracuse, Houston?
Out of all those, I don't feel like watching Oral Roberts anymore. But Baylor, Villanova.
Fair enough.
I want to see that game. I want to see if Jay Wright has a solution to Baylor. I think that'll be the most fun out of all of them. But yeah, you get to this point, all the games are good because you get good contrast to styles and. We'll see if Syracuse can keep it up. You called it in that first game. They absolutely destroyed. In fact, they beat them so bad, I forget who they played, but they beat the crap out of them. And then Syracuse is always a tough out on that second game. Yeah. So, but yeah, all these matchups are going to be fun. And we can get into that. We can get into my thoughts on Florida or Roberts if you want, not necessarily the game, but more the
yeah, sure. Because the fallout from that is that they've got two kids who have entered the transfer portal.
Yeah, and so Quez Glover leaving is fine. Like he was in over his head at Florida. I don't understand how he got a scholarship to begin with. Like not to pick on the kid, but he should have been at a smaller school like probably a Marshall or a South Alabama. And one of the assistants just took the JU job, and maybe he'll follow him to JU. Who knows? I think the biggest thing on these transfers is trying to see where they end up. Because if Noah Locke, who that was a big surprise to me, if Noah Locke ends up at I don't know, Tennessee or, Maryland or something like that, then yeah, that's but if he ends up at UT Chattanooga, then, something's up. So, but Noah Locke leaving, that leaves a big hole.
Well, he was like 40% behind the arc this year.
Yeah, he's a stud 3-point shooter. Some games he goes quiet, but that's every 3-point shooter. And he's a program guy. Like he's a guy that, when you see him play, he's been with Florida for a while. He would have been a senior this year. But yeah, he's a great shooter. So he's a huge loss. So that would scream to me almost like they were having some kind of like mutiny there. Like Glover leaving, that's fine. The assistant coach, if you get a chance to be a head coach, even if it's JU, you're going to take it. So I get that. We'll see what happens. I think there's some other guys that might leave. I don't know if Scotty Lewis is going to be on the team next year. I think a fresh start
If
for
there's
him
a
would be a
mass
good thing.
exodus, do you think that Florida will entertain the thought of firing White this year? In other words, fire him and maybe go after Mosier from Loyola Chicago, something like that. Or do you think?
I don't know.
Or do you
I
think
think
White is safe?
Yeah, I would land. I tend to be more conservative with this. I think Coach White's safe for two reasons. One, he's got a pretty decent sized buyout. Not that, it would take a few boosters to pay it or anything, but it's also tough to let him go after, everything that happened with Keontae Johnson this year. And I know that kind of sounds like an excuse, but that would be pretty tough because he did, kind of drag this team through those times, and they still got to the NCAA tournament. And there is a portion of the fan base, and I think it's more the under 40 crowd that doesn't remember like Lon Krueger and DeVoe and even Sloan. They just remember Billy Donovan like it's our God-given right to be in the Elite Eight or the Sweet 16 every year, and all that would be nice.
Your boy Lon Krueger retired last night.
Yeah, which is cool. And his son just got the job at UNLV, which is pretty neat. Like I remember during the Final Four run in '94, Krueger's kid, I think his name's Kevin, was always at the end of the bench, and he got a lot of camera time during that run. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, he just took over as the head coach at UNLV. And I think Lon's going to kind of retire, but also kind of help his son out over at UNLV a little bit, where Krueger was obviously coach there too. But I think White's safe, mostly just I think the timing isn't good for letting him go. But then again, I mean, if he's going to start to have to rebuild this roster, not everybody can do it like Arkansas, where they basically brought in like 8 new guys this year. And, you see where they are. I don't think Florida has that kind of pull really to bring these elite transfers in.
Did a really good job of hitting the transfer portal themselves.
Right. And it takes a great coach. And, somebody asked me even before last weekend after the SEC tournament, like where I thought Coach White is on a scale of 1 to 10. And I said, then he's about a 6. And I still think he's about a 6 because the 6 will get you to the NCAA tournament. Most years, they might not get you far into it, but they'll at least get you there. And I still think for Florida, that's maybe I'm an old timer, but I think that's a big deal still. Like it's too. Florida. Florida hadn't been to the NCAA tournament since 1987.
Earlier in the week. Yeah, we talked about this earlier in the week, Tony. I don't mean to cut you off, but the gist of it, of what I said was, I think the younger Florida fan has been spoiled and thinks kind of like what you say, that it's their birthright to be not just in the Sweet 16. I think they are just stunned when they don't go to the Final Four. And I'm like, that's not what Florida basketball is to me. As a full picture of me on 47 years on this earth, I've always thought of Florida as a pretty good basketball program, not a great one, that got an incredible 2 to 3 year run there with Billy Donovan. And he did extended passing because he had some years where things would have went his way. He might've won another one, but all in all, okay, Billy Donovan is an elite coach that comes around like once in a lifetime.
Right.
You regroup, but essentially I think what you have is, because you're in the SEC and it is not a good basketball conference, you can actually dominate it. And I think Florida can routinely, if they're routinely in the tournament, then you're just talking about making a run. And that's what Florida, has to look at. Don't go Phil Fulmer yourself and get rid of him because you're like, well, he just can't win the big one. Next thing you know, you're not in the big one anymore. So that's the other danger. But I think he lacks some pizzazz. And so that's why a lot of kids may not be like, I look at him and I hear him talk, and I don't see him walking into a lot of living rooms and just wowing, a kid. Yeah. But I also don't think like he's an ass. I don't think he's going to run you off. If he gets good recruits, it's because the University of Florida sold it. Right. But anyways, we're going to run short on time. So let's get back into the actual tournament itself. Yeah, we can pick apart Mike White on another day.
There'll be plenty of time.
Is he being cancel cultured because of his last name? How do you see this bracket going into the Sweet 16 all the way into the Final Four? What I've got Oregon beating USC in an upset, and I've also got Oregon getting past Gonzaga. And then I've got Florida State getting to the game against Oregon, UCLA upsetting Alabama. And then I've got Loyola of Chicago making it all the way to the Final Four and facing Jay Wright, I'm starting to believe that the Villanova can pull this off. And I've got Florida State and Loyola of Chicago in the championship with FSU cutting down the nets. Now, with that being said, that was a homer pick. And for me to get Florida State there, I don't think they can beat teams like Gonzaga. I think Bama would give them trouble. So I want them to face the upsets. How do you see this going down?
Actually, yeah, I mean, I was kind of joking with FSU making it to the finals in my bracket pool, but I mean, the path is there. I think the biggest thing, if they can get through Michigan, I think FSU will be in the Final Four because I think they'll win that Elite Eight game no matter who they face. I think they play good enough. I think they play good enough defense. Just get Barnes going. Some of the guys that struggled the other day against Colorado, just get them back into it. That was just kind of a aberration, ugly game, I think. And ultimately FSU pulled away. I didn't see the last 5 minutes, but I saw when FSU was up by 10, I knew that game was over because they weren't going to let Colorado come back. Leonard Hamilton's not dumb enough to take the air out of the ball with 10 minutes left, like another coach or two. But yeah, I think all of the one seeds, I think the ones that are left, I think they'll get there. That's kind of what I had. Illinois losing really, really screwed me up. But yeah, I think I'm with you. I think Villanova is a big team to watch in this. They can definitely play spoiler if they can somehow get by Baylor. But if not, Baylor's going to be a tough out too.
That Baylor Arkansas game could be really, really fun. I've just got this feeling that Jay Wright is pressing the right buttons. He's not going to bring home the trophy, but he's going to make life hell for Baylor. And if they can win that game, I definitely favor Villanova over Arkansas because Villanova, we just talked about how Arkansas brought in all these recruits. Villanova is a team that Jay Wright builds teams from the ground up, meaning they stay in his system for years. He's got juniors on his squad. He's got seniors on his squad. And that, I think, can be the difference in beating Arkansas if they can get to that point. The Baylor game, I'm just going that on a hunch. Baylor's got more talent than Villanova does this year, but they could be explosive. So who do you have getting to your Final Four? Give me a Final Four because I'll see you next Friday before the Final Four is played.
I don't have it in front of me. I'll still stay with FSU. I'd still probably I want Villanova to beat Baylor. I think ultimately, Baylor in, Gonzaga in, and then
the other one is Loyola, Oregon State, Syracuse, and Houston.
Yeah, thank you. That's a that's a crapshoot there. I think Kellen Sampson's done an incredible job at
he
Houston.
Has.
I think I had them losing in the last round, just in kind of an upset. I needed a 2-seed upset, and I didn't pick the right one. I guess I would still lean towards Houston in that. I mean, they do have an uber talented team. It's just a matter if they can avoid the trip up. I think if you can get up on Loyola by like 10 at any point in that game, I think you're going to be okay. But they hang around, and then they're almost so methodical on offense with the backdoor cuts. And it's like the old Princeton teams, like when they beat UCLA, you just kind of get lulled to sleep. And then the last 10 minutes of the shot clock, they backdoor somebody or somebody cuts to the basket and hits somebody on the wing for a three. If you can avoid getting lulled to sleep, I think Loyola can be had. It'll be interesting though. As soon as the tournament's over with, how fast does Indiana hire that guy?
That's, and we were talking about this yesterday, and it's funny. A lot of people have poo-pooed on that notion, but you can get yourself a quick payday, and then if it doesn't work out, you can always go elsewhere. Mm-hmm. But if he really likes where his situation is, and they'll pay him a fair salary, I would get them to lock me up. I'm like, look, if you want me to stay, I mean, I need almost like a lifetime contract at this point because I've gotten you to the Final Four twice now. If this ends up happening, and I can definitely see the path for Loyola to get there. I definitely think they're going to beat Oregon State. If they face Houston, I don't know if they've got the dogs to run with Houston. Yeah. But if they face Syracuse, like there's a reason why Syracuse was 11 seed. They can be had. They're just a pain in the ass to prepare for. Yep. Coming up on time, what is your walk-off for the day, sir?
Just excited for basketball. We touched on college baseball, and that'll be fun. If you're able to catch Vanderbilt today, I know Rocker threw last night. If you're able to watch Al Leiter's kid, he just threw a no-hitter last week, and he'll pitch tonight for Vanderbilt. I think they're playing Missouri. And then golf is in match play. So match play is cool the first few days because everybody's in it. As guys get eliminated, sometimes it loses its must-watch factor. So we'll see who makes it to Saturday and Sunday after today and see if it's worth the tune in. But yeah, tons of sports this weekend. So pretty excited about it.
Florida's playing who this weekend?
South Carolina.
That's right.
Yeah. And they're better. South Carolina's better than they have been. So we'll see what happens. First road series for Florida. We'll see how they react to that. But I think they should at least get 2 out of 3, if not come home with a sweep. So we'll see there.
I'm going to be locked in on Florida State Wake Forest tonight, but I do. So you're saying Leiter's most likely to pitch tonight?
Yeah, because Vanderbilt played last night. They for TV sometimes they'll go Thursday through Saturday, like Florida did last week. So Rocker threw last night. I'll send you the highlight. He had a nice catch on a comebacker to the mound. And Rocker's a big kid. He's Tracy Rocker's son. All that kind of stuff. He threw last night. He's like 6'6" and like 240. He looks like Dante Culpepper
So when you're saying Rocker, you know who I thought of? I thought you were talking about John Rocker's kid.
Oh, no. It's Tracy Rocker, the old Auburn defensive lineman. It's his son.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Leiter should throw tonight. And I think we both have the same access to college baseball. So you can find just about any college baseball.
Yeah, I've gotten into
on TV now.
Ever since they started putting so many games on the Plus, I've gotten into it big time. In fact, I'm even going to continue to watch it when MLB comes back next week. I'm going to make sure one device is always on college baseball because I've gotten really into it. All right, brother. We will see you next week, and hopefully we'll be talking about my Seminoles in the Final Four where they probably don't belong. But I'll take a back end in any way we can.
Hey, a Final Four is a Final Four is a Final Four. It doesn't matter how you get there.
I'm hoping for some COVID outbreak at Michigan. That's what I'm
All right. That'll be a fun one, man. Take care.
Yes, sir. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we are going to get into a little more of the tournament. Also, what the hell is Megan Rapinoe talking about? We'll be back in a flash here on the Armchair Quarterbacks.
Hell is filled with people like you.
It's time to jump into DraftKings. Go to DraftKings today at DraftKings.com. Golf, NASCAR, soccer, you name it. And of course, Major League Baseball, basketball, hockey, and football. Go to DraftKings.com. Listen to the Armchair Quarterbacks for DFS advice all year round.
This is Sean O'Toole with the Armchair Quarterbacks. Catch me drive time with Mac McGee, the Armchair Quarterbacks radio show and Facebook Live.
Big news and the big games covered in the Big Ten by the Armchair Quarterbacks all year long.
Third down at about 22. As Smith drops the ball, he's got his tight end. But he's got Carter downfield. He's gone. Michigan leads the game with a first touchdown and a bullet, a bomb to Carter. 71 yards. Now State's lead 7-3. There he goes. So long. Ohio State. Touchdown. That's that old 1-2 punch you take to him the first time.
In his career, Lorenzo White 15 times rushed for 100 yards in a half. 5 of those this season. On 2nd and 10.
Long throw to Ryson, and he's open. All the way to the 6-yard line.
Big Ten football covered in the Southeast by the Armchair Quarterbacks. Weekends in the fall just got a hell of a lot better. Saturday mornings, it's Dixie Football Nation, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. We talk SEC, ACC, the Big Ten, and more. It's the only true Southern football kickoff show. You don't want to miss it. 8 to 9 Eastern Saturdays. The Armchair Quarterbacks have got you covered all football season long. Here in St. Augustine, Top Gun Supply is the friendly gun shop. Top Gun Supply stocks a wide range of firearms. They buy and sell used guns. Top Gun Supply at 525 State Road 16 in St. Augustine. The friendly gun shop, a proud sponsor of the Armchair Quarterback.
You're listening to the Armchair Quarterback Show. We're here weekdays. Drive time? Find the Armchair Quarterback Show on Facebook today.
Put your flag in the dirt.
Kick off fall and kick off happiness with Schafferhofer Grapefruit and Pomegranate Beer. Log on to kickoffhappiness.com for your chance to win a cool custom cooler with Schafferhofer swag, including your favorite team's jersey. Look for the Schafferhofer displays at your local retailers for great savings on Schafferhofer Grapefruit and Pomegranate. And learn more about the sweepstakes at kickoffhappiness.com. See site for official rules. Must be 21 or older. Brewed and bottled in Germany. Imported by Radeberger Group USA, Norwalk, Connecticut. Always enjoy responsibly.
Did you get all that?
We're like, closed or something. Go away.
That was cool. Yeah. Customers suck. Check this out.
All right, what is happening in the world of sports today? We're going to get into something here in 1 second. I do want to get you caught up on what is going on. Yu Darvish has been named the opening day starter for the San Diego Padres. And so that is interesting because they made a lot of moves in the offseason. They also had guys coming back, and they went with Yu Darvish for the opening day starter. I would have thought it would have been Blake Snell. Lon Krueger retires for Oklahoma, and he had 20 NCAA tournaments. Tony talked about it briefly in the last segment. He went to 2 Final Fours, coached at the University of Florida as well. I think he had 6 stops along the way. University of Florida, Noah Locke, 40% behind the three-point arc. He has hit the transfer portal, as well as Guest Glove, which he is more of a role bench player, so I don't think the Gators worry about that. The Noah Locke one is the big one. Rutgers discussed delaying NCAA games for inequities in college sports. And that's what we're going to get into here in a second with this Megan Rapinoe junk. And Josh Reynolds signs with the Tennessee Titans. Okay, so what are they talking about? Why is this a topic? Why is woke ESPN doing the same thing that they always do? Well, it's the same old narrative with them. It's the situation where they're trying to get eyeballs on the TV. So just like they blow things out of proportion in the world of politics, ESPN has become political. And so these kids, these dumb 18, 19-year-old kids who are not aware of what's really going on in the world, they buy into the BS. Just like they bought into the BS during the election last summer. They bought into that BS. It's not their fault. They're young. They haven't been around the block a time or two, and they don't know what the media is actually doing to them. So, with all that being said, that's what Rutgers threatened to delay the game, which, it was unclear which round they were talking about because Rutgers did win the first round. If I'm the opposing team, I say, you're either on the court here when it says the ball's going to drop, or we're going to start scoring without you. And when you come onto the court and come rushing onto the court and you're down 22-0 because you decided to take a little pause, I don't give a damn. You have an obligation to meet me on the court at said time. If you can't do that, you either forfeit or we're just going to start scoring buckets to the point where you're not going to be able to catch up. So that would have been my solution if I'm the opposing team. They wouldn't have done it. They would have all woke and they would have, and it's all because women's sports doesn't get enough love. It's because nobody watches the crap, because most of it is junk. Women's college basketball is terrible. And I'm going to play the Rapinoe press conference here in 1 second, and then I'm going to react to it. But it's all political trash is all it has become. It's all it is. And so away we go. Let's see here.
And for each win, you see, despite all the wins, I'm still paid less than men who do the same job that I do. For each trophy, of which there are many, and for each win, For each tie and for each time that we play, it's less. And I know there are millions of people who are marginalized by gender in the world and experience the same thing in their jobs. And I know that there are people who experience even more, where the layers of discrimination continue to stack against them. And I and my teammates are here for them. We on the U.S. Women's National Team today are here because of them.
There's a lot to do, but together we can ensure that our daughters have all the same rights and opportunities as our sons. And if we're able to do this, it'll be transformational for our nation. That's the goal. That's what this is all about. You know, I've told my daughters, granddaughters from the time they were old enough to understand what I was saying, and I mean it.
Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong.
All right. I wasn't going to play the rest of that crap because that's just political junk where Biden's thinking he's going to get reelected 4 years from now when he's not even going to be allowed to run. The Democratic Party's going to pick somebody else because this guy's already screwed. He's been in office for like 2 months and he's already screwed the pooch. They're not going to let him run again. They know no one is going to buy him winning 2 elections after what he's done so far. Guarantee he doesn't win Pennsylvania this time. That pipeline that he lied about to them, that thing's gone down the garbage. And if that were to be won again in Pennsylvania, you would have nothing but full-blown proof of the complete lie that was put on the American public. I heard it best yesterday from a source that I will not reveal, but they said it was like a third world election, and I cannot dispute that. But putting that aside, what she is trying to get at is that she wants equal pay for these sports leagues. They are not for equal work. If you want equal pay, look, I would suggest this WNBA. I would suggest this U.S. Women's Soccer. The U.S. Women's Soccer is very good. And yes, they do have a point that they are better than the men's soccer team. The problem is they don't have the viewership. So it is its own entity, and you cannot just bully your way in to making as much money. Look, you're not going to get the max contract in the WNBA to equal what the max contract is in the NBA. Insert whatever WNBA player you want to insert. They're not going to make as much money as Steph Curry, okay? It's just not going to happen. If it does happen, it'll be the end of both of the leagues. You cannot have this because the money is not brought in. They don't make the damn money. So the easiest thing to do, but the NBA they've really backed themselves into a woke culture where they've just painted themselves into an absolute ridiculous corner. But the easy answer for the NBA is shut the damn thing down. Just get rid of the WNBA. It doesn't make any money. Shut it down. Let someone else buy you out. Let them hemorrhage their money. Sell it for a reasonable price to Megan Rapinoe and a group of investors. Let Joe Biden throw his money in there too. And while he's doing this, can he please explain to you why he is allowing men who dress like women to play women's sports? How the hell is that equal? So he's talking out both sides of his damn mouth. So I can't respect anything that he's got to put in when it comes to freaking sports, because that bill that he put in to play, the executive order that he put into play recently, was an absolute abomination of what you're trying to do with women's sports, which is let them compete, let them have fun. But if you're going to do this on the level of professionalism and you think you're going to make the same amount of money, it doesn't tread. The NCAA every year loses about $14 million to $20 million on the women's basketball tournament, on women's basketball to be played. They make damn near $1 billion on the men's. So I said this before, and I'll say it again, get rid of women's college basketball. Title IX says you have to have as many scholarships, but they don't have to be the same sport. So they've done it with other men's sports to reduce scholarships. But you wouldn't even have to do that. You would just have to increase scholarships in other sports, if you really wanted to, or you could just eliminate a men's sport that's not making any money itself. How much money is men's cross country bringing in? It's about the same roster size. Get rid of it. You want to do cross country when you're in college? Go jog in the damn park. So if we want to get down to the bare bones of it, I talked about this earlier. Women's softball makes money. It doesn't make the money that the college baseball does, but it is profitable. Sadly to say, women's beach volleyball is profitable too. It's not that it's that popular, but it takes so little money to actually produce. And you do get television contracts for it because people want to see women in bikinis. That's pretty much it. But just go through it. I mean, if you're going to paint them in the corner, paint them in the freaking corner. It is disingenuous to say that women in professional sports deserve the same amount of money as men in professional sports when no one is going to their games. Nobody's watching their damn games on TV. Have you ever heard of someone say, man, I've got my women's bracket and it's just busted? No, nobody watch it. Me and Matt, to have some interest, we play an NIT bracket. We don't play a women's bracket. This is boring and it's junk. You ever try to sit down and try to watch women's basketball? It is atrocious. It's not really their fault, and it should have been taken care of years ago, but now they've kind of painted themselves in a corner so that they want everything equal. It's going to be embarrassing if they have to lower the rim, but I think Shaq was onto something. Lower the rim. Because the men are taller. You can't dispute that science. They can also jump higher. You can't dispute that science. So to have a level playing field, the women's basket should be lowered by at least a foot. Then you would get women players that could dunk regularly in a game. The only dunks you ever see in women's basketball, and there's only a few that can do it, is on an uncontested fast break. And when they do dunk, it looks terrible. It looks like, I don't know if y'all ever played dunk ball in the backyard, but we always had these rims at this one park. There were two normal size rims, and then to the side of them, they were built for kids. They were much shorter. I want to say those were somewhere between 7 and 8 feet tall. They were much shorter. And we used to have fun. This is in our mid-teens, and we would play full court on that, but full court on that is it's the width of an actual basketball court. So I say full court, but it wasn't a full court. It was full of the width of the court because you had a basket on each side. And we played what we called dunk ball. And we would just have a damn blast going up and down. We would shoot the ball as well, but on breaks and whatnot, we'd get up there and dunk because we could dunk on those. Okay. We were 15-year-old kids that didn't have the hops that an 22-year-old fully developed male had. So we would go out there. We had a blast. We'd dunk on each other. We'd freaking slam each other into the damn poles. I mean, dunk ball was actually much more violent than when we would play regular basketball, but we would have a blast. I preferred the regular basketball to it because I enjoyed that part of it. I was a very good outside shooter, ball handler, etc. So I enjoyed the real game, but there were guys that played on dunk ball that were terrible at real basketball. And so that's what they preferred to play, because they weren't trying to make any kind of real team. They just were going out there trying to have fun. And so it was a lot of fun playing those. And I can think of one kid in particular. He was outstanding at dunk ball. He's your first pick. Regular basketball, man, you don't even know if you wanted him on your team. But lower the damn rims for the women and give them a chance to succeed and excel on a smaller scale. It doesn't matter. They will look like credible athletes. And you put them on the men's rims, they look like little kids out there. They have to be wide open to hit a shot, by the way. Whenever you see them hit a three, it's always a set shot. There are no jumpers in women's basketball. They're all set shots. It's junk, but we're going to pay you as much. Why? Nobody's going to watch your sport. You pay one female athlete the same amount that you pay Steph Curry, or LeBron James. Fill in whatever name you want to fill in. And that league will fold within 2 seasons, because they can't pay someone $40 million a year when nobody watches your damn sport. It can't be done. It absolutely can't be done. And I hate beating this dead horse, but I saw that news conference yesterday, and I was like, man, you're not going to bully me into thinking that we just have to give you everything you want. You don't hear the semi-pro women's football leagues trying to get the same amount of money that the men's do, because it's not the same sport. Nobody watches it. WNBA has the backing of the NBA. The NBA has given up millions to keep that alive for the only one reason. They want to develop young female basketball fans that will continue to be basketball fans their entire life. They don't really give a damn if they ever watch the Sparks versus that's the only WNBA team I can think of. Sparks versus I don't know, I feel like there's a Salt Lake City team or something like that. Anyways, they don't care if you ever watch that. They hope that you become a Lakers fan, a Celtics fan, whatever you want to put in, and you'll continue to buy the jerseys. That's all they get. The WNBA, this isn't an experiment anymore, y'all. This has gone on for an entire generation. It began in 1997. It's 24 years later. It still hasn't made a dime. Get rid of it. That's the easy answer. Ban the WNBA. Boycott it. I mean, I think most of us do. We just don't intend to. And the problem is with the women's college basketball, nobody watches that either. And it's so bad. What makes it even worse is that you only have a handful of really good players. So the elite teams crush the underdogs. You rarely ever see upsets in women's college basketball. You don't see a 7 seed march themselves all the way to the national title game. It doesn't happen. Anytime I see the women's college basketball Final Four, it's always a bunch of 1 seeds. Maybe there's a 2 involved. That's it. Anyways, I'll move on from that a little bit. It irritates the hell out of me when politics and sports get intertwined. And then it's one thing if Rapinoe sits up there on the podium and says there's stupid crap, and it's compartmentalized and it's just ignored. It's another thing when it's on there and ESPN broke in like it was like actually something to cover. And then they went back and tried to tell you, oh, this is a great topic and blah, blah, blah. Bull crap. Absolute bullcrap. Nobody cares about it. Nobody ever will. Nobody ever has. The league's been around 24 freaking years, and the women's soccer, I will admit, I will watch it, but I'm in a big minority with that. I do not know many people that actually watch it. When they got to a chance to win the title, that got good viewership, but all in all, are you watching their regular season crap? Hell no. I don't even know when it comes. I don't even know how to watch it if I wanted to watch it. I don't want to watch it. But if I did, how the hell would I? You got me? I have to Google that, and Google probably can't even find it. Starting pitchers for opening day. See some updates on this. The Braves have finally announced that it will be Max Fried on the mound. The Orioles will have John Means. That's not a surprise. Red Sox, Erod. Everyone knew that. The Cubs will go with Kyle Hendricks. That's the logical choice. Lucas Giolito for the White Sox. Luis Castillo for the Reds. Shane Bieber for the Indians. The Tigers have announced that it's going to be Matt Boyd. Astros, Zach Greinke. And the Royals will have Brad Keller. Dylan Bundy's going to take the mound for the Angels. The Dodgers, it looks like it's going to be Clayton Kershaw again. Your Marlins are going to get Santi Alcantara. Brewers, Brandon Woodruff, no surprise there. Twins, Kenta Maeda, no surprise there. The Mets, who the hell else would it be? Jacob deGrom, arguably the best pitcher in the sport. And if he's not, then Garrett Cole is for the Yankees. He'll be on the mound. Chris Bassett will take that. Now that's a little bit of a surprise. Chris Bassett's going to be the opening day starter for the A's. Aaron Nola for the Phillies. Flaherty for the Cardinals. Yu Darvish for the Padres. Marco Gonzalez for the Mariners. Glasnow for the Rays. Kyle Gibson for the Rangers. And, of course, Max Scherzer. There's been a couple that have not been announced, but we'll get you caught up on that next week starting on Monday. Monday is going to be nothing but baseball and, of course, reactions to the Sweet 16. Looking forward to the Elite Eight. So looking forward to that. Matt Carr is on the way, so I'm going to go ahead and step aside and put that on. We'll be back in a flash here on the Armchair Quarterbacks. When we come back, we are going to be talking the NBA deadline, trading deadline that has just passed and some of the moves, and we're also going to get back into the college basketball. We'll be back in a flash with Matt Carr in just a few minutes.
Kids, you heard the sirens. Why aren't you in the basement? We know what the siren means. It means tornado watch or tornado warning. I don't know the difference. Go Google it in the basement. No, Connor, this is not a test. Those are Wednesdays at noon while your ass is still in bed. Take some food down there. Just the essentials. I got some cheese and jerky. Is everyone in the basement? Good. Billy, bring Dad a beer. All right, let's see what all the fuss is about. Joe? Tornadoes have had less touchdowns than the Bears, and that's really saying something.
Armchair.
CBS Sports Radio.
You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on CBS Sports Radio, #1 sports station.
Good morning, and this is your Armchair Quarterbacks Sports Flash. Chicago White Sox left fielder Eloy Jimenez will have surgery for a ruptured pectoral tendon and will miss 5 to 6 months, General Rick Hahn said on Thursday. The 24-year-old slugger had a .296 batting average with 14 home runs, 41 RBI during the 60-game shortened season last year. The NBA trading deadline was yesterday at 3 p.m., and there were a slew of moves. Here we go. The Warriors trade Wanamaker to the Hornets. The Houston Rockets trading Oladipo to the Miami Heat. Raptors trade guard Davis to the Kings. Rajon Rondo is heading back to LA, but it's the Clippers this time as he's traded away from Atlanta. George Hill is on his way to the 76ers. The Raptors trade Powell out to Portland. The Bulls acquire Vucevic from the Orlando Magic, and the Celtics add Fournier as well from Orlando. While some believe the big deal was Aaron Gordon going to the Denver Nuggets from the Magic. There's still a slew of things to get sorted out over the next few days as the buyout clause will take place. And the Sweet 16 resumes on Saturday, 2:40 p.m. on CBS. It's Oregon State versus Loyola of Chicago. Villanova and Baylor then take the court at 5:15, also on CBS. And at 7:25 over on TBS, you get Oral Roberts versus Arkansas, followed up by Syracuse versus Houston with an estimated tip-off of about 9:55 p.m. On Sunday, 2:10 p.m. tip-off, it's Creighton versus number 1 Gonzaga and the overall favorite to win it all. 5 p.m., you get the Michigan Wolverines taking on the Florida State Seminoles. Both those games can be seen on CBS. At 7 o'clock, UCLA, the number 11 seed, will do battle with the number 2 seed Alabama Crimson Tide. And that will be followed up at 9:45 p.m. with number 7 Oregon versus the 6th-seeded Southern Cal Trojans. And that's your Armchair Quarterback Sports Flash. Stay tuned for more of the Armchair Quarterbacks radio show and YouTube Live. Please like, subscribe, and share our show today. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for sports talk live from the First Coast.
Kick off fall and kick off happiness with Schaffer Hopper Grapefruit and Pomegranate Beer. Log on to kickoffhappiness.com for your chance to win a cool custom cooler with Schaffer Hopper swag, including your favorite team's jersey. Look for the Schaffer Hopper displays at your local retailers for great savings on Schaffer Hopper Grapefruit and Pomegranate. And learn more about the sweepstakes at kickoffhappiness.com. See site for official rules. Must be 21 or older. Brewed and bottled in Germany. Imported by Radeberger Group USA, Norwalk, Connecticut. Always enjoy responsibly.
Welcome to the jungle. Jim Rome on the air, noon to 3 Eastern, only on CBS Sports Radio.
It all starts with just one thing. When recycling, rinse out jars and cans, and avoid recycling wax paper or paper soiled with food. This will reduce recycling contamination. Find tips and more at onethingus.com. What's your one thing?
Take the scenic route in the new Hyundai Santa Fe, the family SUV with available H-Track all-wheel drive to help you travel way off the beaten path. Find new adventures together in the Hyundai Santa Fe.
Armchair.
Community Access Channel.
It's like people only do things because they get paid. And that's just really sad.
Look, you can stay here in the big leagues and play by the rules, or you can go back to the farm club in Aurora. It's your choice.
Yes, and it's the choice of a new generation.
By Danny Ainge. It's been going on for a decade now. Woo! Friday, baby. Matt Carr, did y'all survive all those damn tornadoes?
Yeah, we had some. My basketball goal went down. Our neighbor's huge tree went down, and a cable line went down. But we were in the basement. We have a basement in our house, and we were down there for about 20 minutes. But it came and went.
What are you rocking today? Home run with a football player on it?
Yeah, it's getting close to baseball season.
I got the Pats blue ribbon, baby.
Pride of the South.
What's that?
I said pride of the South.
Yeah, that's right, man. Getting ready for the Sweet 16 action. Before we get into college basketball, though, the NBA trading deadline came and went. These buyout clauses, I think they need to get rid of them. They seem disingenuous, and it's flat out garbage because it doesn't even go off of waiver claims. It's just whoever the hell they want to go to. So it's a roundabout way to make these guys free agents in the middle of the year.
Right. Like Drummond and whatnot.
And you're building these super teams, and the first part of the NBA playoffs are going to be worthless to watch again. Because for everything I've seen, Drummond is most likely going to go to the Lakers.
Right.
So it's going to be another freaking unbeatable team. And I'm not going to sit there and watch the Lakers just march to another, hand-carved championship that was just good.
I would say the same thing, but I think Denver's move was actually pretty legit yesterday.
I don't have problems with trades.
I'm just saying Denver versus Lake. I don't think they're going to walk through the West as easy.
What I'm saying is, if LeBron's healthy, AD's healthy, you add Drummond, they're not going to lose to Denver. Yeah, it may take them 6 games, but they're not going to lose to them, and so it's going to become unwatchable again. I'm hoping that a guy like Drummond decides to go somewhere that he thinks he can make a name for himself and go to like New York, right? Then the Knicks have a ridiculous amount of money under the cap. It was strange to see Miami so aggressive, considering how bad of a year they've had. I was very surprised by that. I don't know about you, but it looks like that they're holding on hope that they can turn the corner and do something this year and get back to the finals. If you want to call that back to the finals, I don't know. Is that really getting back to the finals?
Yeah.
And the Celtics are just trying to make the playoffs at this point. They're 8th seed, which means they'll be in the first play-in round at this point. Is it top 10 or top 12?
I think it's I honestly forgot about that, but I think it's top 10.
Okay, so it would be so with that being said, it'd be like 7 versus 10 and 8 versus 9. So right now, if that's the case, the Celtics would be drawing the Pacers in the first round. He would be exactly Groundhog Day again. And the Heat would draw the Bulls. The Bulls were aggressive. I like that. I like when a team hasn't made the playoffs in a while and hasn't really done anything, especially a storied franchise like Chicago, and they make a move. I'm not a fan of the buyout clause. I think it's junk.
I was reading this article, which I know you hate NBC Sports, but this was the first thing it pulled up. It was winners and losers of yesterday, and it was winner Orlando Magic, loser Boston Celtic fans.
Yeah, I mean, look, Fournier is a good addition, but he's not going to make a difference in how their season ends.
No.
Now, if they've got something in play where they're going to get a great addition during these buyouts that we're not aware of, okay, I'll eat my words. But as of right now, Danny Ainge sucks, man. And I hate saying that because I grew up watching that guy play, and I want him to be a great general manager. But he is just the most impotent manager I've ever seen in my life, who has all of these assets and holds on to them like he's holding on to a freaking Viagra pill. He's afraid to take it. Well, she's cute, but she's not cute enough. Maybe I gotta wait till the next one comes along.
I would say that you're 8th place in the East. You just came off a loss. Like we lost by 2 to the Bucks, but we really lost by 20. If you watched any of that game.
Yeah, I actually watched the entire second half. I kept wanting to turn it off. I was like, uh-oh.
I turned it off. That's what's funny. I watched the first part. I was like, I'm done. And then I saw the pre-Sports Center game. They're like, Comeback City. I was like, wait, what did I miss? But so your 8th place team just got your butt kicked, and your go-to is let's get the 3rd best player off one of the 3rd worst team in the league.
Unless they brought in Vucevic or Aaron Gordon, I wasn't going to get excited about anything they did.
Right.
Those were the only 2 guys that I thought that were out there on the trade market that could help the Celtics situation. We heard about Matt Barnes forever. That was not going to help a damn thing. We heard about
Harrison Barnes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Harrison Barnes. We heard multiple reports, or at least I did, that they could be going another direction like Oladipo. That wasn't going to help anything.
No.
They needed some kind of interior size. And look, I don't believe that what the Denver Nuggets put together was something that the Celtics couldn't have done.
Right.
It was interesting to me that Kyle Lowry was kept. I don't know what they said, that they didn't have enough, that the offers weren't that good, but he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. So that's another reason why I don't like the way that the buyout is structured, is because teams are like, screw it, I'll just wait till then. And so then the bad teams don't even get better. They don't get assets. And the good teams just get even incredibly more strong. And it's not fair the way it's set up. It should be a waiver wire situation. It should be like the way it is in baseball, where if you cut a guy, let's say the Braves, a very good comparison. Ender Inciarte is junk at this point in his career. And he's probably going to be coming off the bench for the Braves, but he's making like $6 or $7 million. If the Braves were to waive him, they are on the hook for the rest of his salary. If someone wants to pick him up, they would pay league minimum, and then the Braves would still have to cover the rest. But you don't get to choose where you go. It goes through the pecking order of the current standings, and it goes through a waiver wire system. And if it falls to you and you want to pick him up, you can. If you're like, no, he sucks, then he can go all the way through. And then if he makes it all the way through the waiver wire situation, he then becomes an unrestricted free agent who can sign for league minimum, and the Braves are still on the hook for the rest of his salary. That's a fair way to do it. This NBA one is garbage. And it just tells you how much that the NBA's Players Association actually rules the roost of their league, and the owners were just too dumb to give them way too much power.
Right.
And rant. But it's making the sport even worse than what it already is. The Vucevic trade, the Braves, the Celtics easily could have matched that.
They just didn't. Well, I mean, we got under the cap, I guess, is what we did, which is good. It's just, it didn't do anything for us going forward. I mean, we got rid of some draft picks.
I mean, is he building for the 2028 season? That's what it feels like.
He's wasting Tatum and Brown, man. He's wasting their youth. Yeah. It's annoying, and like I know you're on the same page. It seems like it is Groundhog's Day again, because we talk about this once a year, you know?
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll move on from the depressing life of the NBA fan, and let's go back to Sweet 16, which ought to be a lot of fun this weekend.
Yeah, that'll be fun. This is the best part of college basketball year.
Oh yeah, I mean the tournament's definitely the best part.
Tournament. Sorry.
Yeah, the tournament by far is the best part of the college basketball year. I don't get revved up for Midnight Madness whenever they do that junk. Yeah,
I used to when I was actually in college, but now I'm just like, okay, when's the tournaments? When like, even the conference tournaments, that's when I start getting really revved up for it.
Yeah, so the games tomorrow, Villanova and Baylor. I think that's one of the marquee matchup of the night. But you got Oregon State, Loyola squaring off. Who do you have winning that one?
Man, I had Loyola in the Sweet 16. I'm not sure if it was in our bracket we did or the other one I'm in. But now I have them in the Final Four. So I'm going Sister Jean, man.
So Syracuse, Houston, who will play the winner of the Loyola game. Who do you have in that one?
I got Houston, man. Boeheim's a good guy to get to the Sweet 16. Does that a lot and then kind of like dips out. So I'm going to take Houston to Loyola.
I'll tell you what, his son is impressive.
He is. He's very good. Buddy, yeah.
Yeah, Buddy Boeheim.
He's good, man.
I don't know what year he is, but I feel like there's going to be a Christian Laettner feel to him if he sticks around too much longer. People are going to start hating him. But Buddy Boeheim is, and I don't know what he'll do on the NBA level, but he's a really good college basketball player. That's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I
wouldn't mind them winning. I just think, like I said, Boeheim, it seems like anymore he's got a decent squad, gets a decent score to the Sweet 16 as a double-digit seed, and kind of dips out.
I don't know if I've seen a number 2 seed like Houston with little respect.
Right, exactly.
Everyone's like, it's Houston. I mean, I was the same way. It's Houston. They'll find a way to lose this. But it is a cool story, Ralph Sampson. You know, I grew up watching Ralph Sampson play in the NBA, and it's a cool story for people who don't remember who Ralph Sampson was. He was the other side of the Houston Rockets in the 80s when they were called the Twin Towers. It was Ralph Sampson and Akeem Olajuwon. And Ralph Sampson also played college basketball in Houston. So he is a Houston legend in that city.
Right.
He was on the same college basketball team as Clyde Drexler. They called him the Phi Slamma Jamma.
Yeah.
Now that's dating me because that took place in I want to say that team was 82. They were 81 or 82. They were the ones that lost to the Cinderella Cinderella NC State team of Jimmy Valvano before he caught cancer and whatnot. So they went on to, in the 86 World Championship, when the Celtics, I still say the 86 Celtics are the best NBA basketball team to ever play. They beat the Twin Towers of Houston, Olajuwon and Sampson, in 6 games. So it's a cool story, and if he gets into the Final Four, it would continue to be a very cool story. But I'm with you. I mean, I've got Loyola Chicago actually making it to the national title game. In the other side of the bracket, you got, or the top part of this, Baylor versus Villanova. Who do you have advancing in that one?
I mean, I have Baylor winning it all. I've had them in every bracket I did. Since the beginning of the season, I had Baylor. I would have had Baylor winning it all last year as well. So I'm going Baylor.
You would have been wrong. FSU would have won that one last year. But anyways, go ahead.
Baylor, Arkansas. I got Baylor versus Arkansas. But even if Arkansas loses, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't mind seeing a 15 seed get in there. You know?
Yeah, there's going to come a point where there's a reason why they're a 15 seed. They're going to get their doors blown off in one of these games.
And if it's Arkansas or Baylor or Villanova, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, go get them.
They fell into the pocket where they played a very overrated Big Ten team in Ohio State, overrated Big Ten conference.
Wow, yeah,
and
it was rough.
Then they played a Florida team. They were overseeded. They shouldn't have been where they were, and they blew that game. Even before, both of those teams should have beaten Oral Roberts.
Well, yeah.
So you've got Baylor getting to the Final Four versus Loyola Chicago. So we go over to the other side. Gonzaga going to take out Creighton?
Yeah. I originally had Gonzaga beating Virginia, which I'm sure most people did. Oh, yeah, maybe not. Maybe you might have had Virginia going out first round. I'm not sure what your bracket looks like.
I took Ohio to beat them. That was one of the few ones that I was right about.
That's why I mean, and that wasn't. And honestly, that wasn't a big upset to me. We talked about that last Friday. It's like, Virginia's boring. They're terrible. I don't know why I had them in the Sweet 16. But I got Gonzaga beating Creighton, and then I guess I'm going to jump on this USC bandwagon and give them one more round, beating Oregon.
I've actually got Oregon making it to the Final Four.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I've just been impressed with Oregon. Now, look, it might all fall apart because that's going to be an incredible game.
Their first round game was tough. That was a nail biter.
Yes. No.
They beat COVID.
But their team is just loaded top to bottom. USC's very talented as well. I've got regardless, I think the winner of that game is going to beat Gonzaga. That's just my gut feeling. But you've got Gonzaga making it to the Final Four?
We got the Zags in the Final Four. If we're scooting down to the bottom, if Florida State beats Michigan, go for it. I got Michigan beating them. I'll be pulling for Florida State. I just think Michigan will beat them. I got Alabama beat UCLA, and then I got Bama in the Final Four over Michigan.
Okay. So Alabama Gonzaga would be a really good game. I've got Florida State upsetting Michigan, then I've got UCLA upsetting Alabama.
Really? Okay.
Because this is how I get Florida State a national championship. They play the worst team they could possibly play in each round.
Every round.
So I've got Florida State playing after, if they can get past Michigan, I've got Florida State playing UCLA and then beating Oregon and then beating Loyola of Chicago for the national championship.
Hey, I mean, I like where your head's at.
I don't want to have to beat Michigan, Alabama, Gonzaga, and Baylor to win it all. I don't think that's going to turn out well.
That's how it's been every year. I like North Carolina. I would put I don't care what seed North Carolina was, they'd be in the finals somehow. I'm like, oh, this can happen. This can happen.
So your final four, who meets in the national championship game and who wins it?
I got the Zags, Bama, Baylor, Loyola, and then I got Bama versus Baylor and Baylor winning it all. But I mean, honestly, this is the least money I've ever bet on a bracket. This year is the least money I've ever bet. I've never equally bet NIT versus the real bracket. But I wouldn't mind seeing Loyola win it, man. That'd be a cool story.
I wouldn't mind seeing Loyola lose to Florida State in the championship game. That would be even a cooler story.
Cool story, bro.
I want to see Leonard Hamilton get a Final Four before it's all said and done. He just signed a 5-year contract, but the guy's also 72 years old. And so
he don't look 72.
No, he doesn't. He looks like he could whip both of our asses together. It looks like he could clunk our heads together.
That has nothing to do with age.
Yeah.
I'm just weak.
I mean, he's a big dude, and that usually doesn't bode well either for old age. So I really want to see this guy get to a Final Four. I don't know if he'll ever win one, but if he can get to a Final Four, at least it's a part of his resume. He's done such a great job rebuilding that program that was just in the dumpster when he took it over, and he's got another good recruiting class coming in.
I like the way I do like the way he uses every player. I like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping gets them past Michigan. Is that they're going to play 10 to 12 players, and Michigan's going to try to make it through with about 7.
Right.
And if they can hang in till halftime and not make the dumb turnovers, their biggest issue that Florida State has is they don't have, in my opinion, a true point guard. They have guys that they put at the point, but they're so good at transition. That's how they try to run their offense. They have a true elite point guard coming in next year, and that's going to be exciting to watch. But right now, as good as MJ Walker is, as good as Scotty Barnes is. Scotty Barnes, and I know they're going to draft him. They're saying that he's going to be a lottery pick. The kid is just so raw, man. I don't think he's worth the lottery pick at this stage. Now, someone's going to draft him on what they always do. Well, his potential, he could be great. 7 years, look out. He'll become a free agent. We won't be able to afford him, so we're going to lose out on that. But we'll be able to develop him. And so that's what a Scotty Walker is going. Scotty Barnes is going to be. If you end up drafting Scotty Barnes, whoever that team is, just realize he will not reach his potential until he becomes a free agent. It's just that guy's going to be. He's got talent,
right?
But when you watch him bring the ball up the court and just pay attention to this on Sunday when they're playing, and you see them bring the ball up the court. It never looks like they never seem like they have a quarterback. It seems like they're always discombobulated and the open guy shoots the ball, but how they get to that point, they're so much better in transition than they are in the half court game. That's probably going to be their falter. They'll either lose to someone along the way because they just cannot play half court ball. And so that's one of the reasons why I think UCLA is going to upset Alabama. They're really good in the half court.
Bama, I watched. Like I said, I didn't really start watching college basketball this year until about the tournament. And Bama just looked good. Every game they look good. Besides the game
is good.
Besides the game against Tennessee, which they probably should have lost that game, they still look. I mean, they just look like they're a good team. And I'm not an SEC basketball fan really at all, but I mean, they looked really good in the SEC tournament. So I'm taking them.
Yeah, but Bama is good. I just like to pick the shot. Plus, the way I'm doing my bracket, I'm trying not to play Bama, so I'm trying to get the easiest road in there. Hell, I tried to get Michigan out of the damn Sweet 16, but it just didn't work out that way. They dominated the first round. They had a little bit of a scare in the second round, but not really. They pretty much put it away after about 10 minutes left. It's pretty much what Florida State did. Florida State played with fire, though. They dominated that first half, and they were only up by 4 because they weren't hitting their shots. Now they came out in the second half and they outscored the first half almost at a 2-1 clip because they scored 24 in the first half, scored 47 in the second. But that's when they got into their transition offense, and that's where Florida State shines because they have so many athletes coming at you. But I want to see more aggressive defense against Michigan, and the fact that they're probably not going to have livers, I wouldn't expect that they're going to. FSU's got a chance to shock some people, but they're gonna have to get on the stick about it.
My happiest thing from the first round was Georgetown getting their brakes beat by Colorado. I love that.
God, was that embarrassing?
I loved it.
I didn't mind it. I'm not a big Georgetown fan, especially Patrick Ewing. You don't know who I am. I built this place.
I would have probably rooted for Georgetown if that hadn't happened a week, or the Big Ten tournament or whatever tournament that is. Big East.
All right, we haven't talked about this in a while. Let's talk about the terrible stock market and what it's doing to everybody. You get your eyes on anything right now while everything is down?
I'm still going in on Palantir, even though it's just bleeding me dry. It's a long play, but it's just I'm still new to the stock, as you know that. But I've been holding. I mean, I look at this as a 5-year hold, but it's if I could just not look at it every day, it'd be great. But every day it's just a rough little bleed, man. And I don't know if it's starts at the top with Biden or not, but he has not been great for the stock market.
Well, we knew he wouldn't be. I still got the long play in on Tesla. It's down to $6.39 a share.
And yeah, Kathy Wood come out 3 days ago, saying Tesla's going to be a $3,000 stock. So I mean, take that with what you want.
It's so right now, according to that, you're talking about 5 times. And she's talking about 2 years from now. But even if you can quadruple your money in 3 to 4 years, that would be great. So I've got quite a few shares of Tesla. Every time I made money, I sat it aside and I waited for Tesla to dip and I bought it. Yeah. And so right now, like, my worth looks terrible considering what it was, I don't know, 2 months ago before someone that we all hold dear to our heart was inaugurated. But I do believe it's going to go up. And when it goes up, it shoots out like a cannon, and you're not going to be able to catch it. So I would buy it now. It's sitting at 640. It might dip a little. It's not going to get much lower than that. And before I started buying on the dip, it was a $900 stock.
Right.
So we're talking about.
If you know anything about ARK Investments, that's who the Kathy Wood lady is. She's all about Tesla. I think that's her baby is Tesla.
Mm-hmm.
And but her other one, like I said, she's buying, like she bought 2 days ago, she bought 1.2 million shares of Palantir. And like a couple weeks before that, she bought 3 million shares. So, I mean, she's buying the dips too. So, I mean, I'm following her plays a lot, and ARK shows there what they buy and sell every day, every afternoon. She shows what she buys. So
the other one that I like, I don't know if I've talked about this one much, but it's called Buzz, and that is a long-term play. It's sitting at $23 a share right now, and what that is, and David Portnoy is invested heavily into this one. It's a stock that buys the 75 most popular stocks currently, and they move it around. So they're trying to make your money, right? And so the theory is they hit social media, they hit everything, and they figure out what's most being talked about, what's most being sold, and they try to buy on that They try to buy on the dips and ride them out. Buy on the dips, ride them out. It's the 75 most popular ones that they move in and out every day. But you buy their stock, and you're just only investing in what they've done. You're not investing in every single one of these 75 companies.
Right. And they just went public, what, 2 weeks ago, right?
Something like that. It was shortly after they went public. I waited for the dip, and then I bought it.
Steve Nelson brought that to my attention. Like it was coming, like it came out right around the time Roblox did, I think.
Okay. So yeah, it was a big one. And what I like about it is you buy it low. Let's say it's $23 stock. Let's say you buy 10 of them, 20 of them, whatever you want, and just let it sit and see what it does a year from now. Just leave it alone. Don't panic. See what it does for a year from now. If it's still sitting there kind of, in the same area, okay, then maybe it wasn't a great investment and you move on, but I don't see it losing a ton of money. So, I'm not saying go bananas and put 98% of your portfolio into it, but I'm interested to see what it does long-term. Let's go ahead and it's that time again. So let's go ahead and do turn back time and walk-offs. Here we go on this Friday. What is the day today? The 26th. Man, we're almost out of March already. And thank God baseball comes back next Thursday. About to blow my brains out talking about the NBA. All right. What we have here on this day in sports history. On this date in 1937, Ty Cobb, who was retired at the time, convinces Joe DiMaggio he needs a lighter bat, not a heavier one. Joe DiMaggio had always used a 40-ounce bat. He goes to a 36-ounce one. The rest is history. Joe DiMaggio basically walks into the Hall of Fame, and he contributed that particular bit of advice to being a big deal on why he dominated the game. It was early analytics. He figured out that the speed of your bat was much more important than the weight of your bat. Also on this date in 1984, Jackie Robinson, who of course broke the color line, baseball's color line, playing for the Dodgers in 47, was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom by President Reagan. So, which, obviously was well-deserved. Birthdays. Talking about basketball, I'm talking about when the NBA was great. Mr. John Stockton. This can't be right. 59 years old today. I don't think I like the sound of that. That must mean that I'm getting up in age. 59 years old. Jose Vizcaíno. Yes, that Jose Vizcaíno that played for the Mets. That dude's 53 years old today. What the hell happened? Jeez Louise. And Von Miller. This almost sounds just as outrageous. I feel like he should be a young pup. Von Miller turns 32 today.
It seems like he just came in the league.
I know. I feel like he should be like 27. So there you have that, birthdays and turn back time. Where's your walk-off today, sir?
Well, I was going to be. I can't wait to watch some basketball tonight because I thought it was on Friday night until I woke up this morning. But just looking forward to the weekend. I think it's supposed to rain a lot, so I'll be indoors a lot and just watching basketball, root for Loyola.
My walk-off is something I just noticed the other day, and I'm meaning to bring this up. But when they talk about the older players, you ever notice the older players have these great nicknames?
Right.
And now we don't. LBJ, that's not a good nickname. That sucks, right? We don't have these great nicknames for the, for the great players of the time that we live in. And my walk-off is we need better sports writers to come up with these nicknames. They had great nicknames back then because your major newspaper outlets, they were always in competition. In fact, one of the guys that coined some of the biggest and most popular nicknames in sports history is from your neck of the woods, sir. He's Grantland Rice. He's actually got a plaque there that sits right in the center of town, really close to the courthouse. That's why I saw it. But he's the one that coined the nicknames like the Galloping Ghost. Okay, because they used to write these. They used to be in competition. They would write their articles and send them out to different national papers until they finally get picked up and they would go work for them. But they were always in competition and trying to catch the American imagination. And now it's just gotten lazy. I mean,
now you just got, well, it's more 2000s, but Shaq just giving people nicknames.
Yeah, I mean, Shaq might be one of the last great nicknames, the Diesel, right?
Right.
But that era has gone by. We don't have nearly a cool nickname like that for Zion Williamson. It's
he's amazing.
Look at this stupid crap. NCAA hires law firm for gender equity review. Will review NCAA championships. This is what I was talking about earlier in the show. Megan Rapinoe, you can go straight to hell. That's my walk off. How about that? I'm over that. We need equal pay even though nobody watches our sport. It's not fair.
I get it. But you could at least give them more than one set of weights for the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, but the thing is, they're in different stratospheres. One brings in $1 billion worth of first of all, the whole thing was done on the fly. And yeah, they could probably have given them a little more. But what I'm saying is one makes $1 billion a year. The other one loses about $14 to $20 million a year. So at that rate, you ought to bring your own damn weights.
There's a shake weight.
I think it's unfair that we get paid less to do this show than what some of the females get paid to do on ESPN, et cetera. So, let's talk about that.
Don't call your lawyer. Have your
gender equity should go both ways. That's all I'm saying. We'll see you next. We'll see you next week, man. If the stock market hasn't totally crashed and I haven't jumped off a bridge.
Later.
Goodbye, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. We're back tomorrow with another show. Well, unless we're fired, we'll talk to you then. Goodbye, sweetheart. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Guys and gals, it's time to go. We'll see you on the next show.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Thanks for listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on these CBS Sports affiliates and catching the show on YouTube Live. We're here weekdays, 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 Central, 5 Pacific. Find Armchair Quarterbacks on YouTube Live today. Please subscribe and share and take us everywhere you go. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for Southern sports talk, live from the First Coast.
Gonna get another cigarette.